is Dreamer here, and today we are back with Chapter 4 of Buried. It's been a couple of days since I posted this, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this out as quick as I can, because I really like it. But, we're gonna jump right into the story, because I don't remember what happened last time, and we gotta figure that out. Alright, we went over these all the end of Chapter 3, so we're just gonna move right on into Chapter 4. Oh yeah, last episode we saw the creatures. I forgot about that. And Marcus ran away. The ride up the elevator is tense. I take a series of deep breaths, doing anything I can to stay in control. Amy has gotten back to her feet, but her head is pressed against the elevator wall as she suppresses a series of sobs. I find myself trying to remember the way those creatures looked, but my mind seems to shudder at the effort. I have seen something that is an impossibility, a mockery of what I know is real. This fills me with a terror that dwarfs anything else I have felt since discovering the facility. I try to focus my mind on something else and remember Marcus's threats. I wonder if we'll see Marcus again, I say, mostly to myself. Do you think Marcus got away from those things? Amy asks. Probably, or I hope not. To be fair, he kind of did have a head start, so let's go with probably. She opens her mouth as if to say something, but her mouth simply hangs open. He's gone. He's gone, I assure her. Don't worry about him. We have bigger problems to worry about right now. But honestly, I'm speaking more to myself than to her. So I say, how did you end up here? She gives a nervous chuckle and shrugs. I used to work at the Pentagon. It was some pretty upper echelon stuff, and I still can't discuss. I assume this place is even more upper echelon? I don't know if I'm saying that word right. I said, this place isn't even on the scale, she answers. My other job was a cakewalk compared to this. Then why stay? I ask. Because the money is ridiculous. I have a 13-year-old daughter already talking about Harvard. You do the math. Harvard, huh? That's ambitious. Or any other kids. Let's just go with Harvard. Oh, I know. She's a force of nature. Her dad ran off when she was 3. So for a long time, it's been just her and me. Amy pauses before continuing softly. What if I never see... Her voice breaks off, the words too terrible to say. Her eyes fill with tears. The elevator comes to a stop, a slight ding of it interrupting the moment. Amy hastily wipes her eyes, and we waste no time in getting back inside the command center. Aw, I hope she sees her daughter again. That's sad. I'm still actually really concerned about fucking whatever our friend's name is that I can't think of right now, who's down with the creatures. Not Marcus, the other guy. I ready the rifle, suddenly certain that there are more of those creatures waiting for us in the hallway of the second level. But the way is clear, allowing us to haul ass to the command center. Once again, I find myself staring at the screen that shows my ruined work site. Okay, says Amy, typing commands rapidly. It can't be that hard. I keep peeking over my shoulder, my senses feeling as if the monsters are sneaking up on us mere inches away. I then think of Dennis, that's what his name was, Dennis, and wonder how he is faring back on level 3. Is he safe? I look back to the screens and see if Amy has finally found what she's looking for. The prompt on the screen says override of hangar doors and all level 3 locks requires a clearance code. Amy types in a number with shaking fingers, and the screen goes black for a moment. The moment the words "override confirm" come up on the screen, Amy jumps up from her chair and heads out of the room. "We have to be quick," she says. "We have exactly 20 minutes to open those hangar doors." What happens in 20 minutes, or let's get moving? Let's just, no time to waste. Let's get moving. I follow her out of the command center and bound back down the hallway toward the same elevator that brought us up here. Amy punches the elevator button and the doors slide open. We're taking this same elevator back to the biochem room. I ask, "Those creatures are still down there." "There are even more in the other direction, remember?" she says. "Hopefully they've left." Hopefully. Neither of us say anything else as we share a look of immense dread. We step back into the elevator and head back down to the biochem room on level 3. It doesn't look like they're here anymore. As the elevator door opens, we peer out, looking to see if the creatures are still in the area. But it's all clear. When Amy looks at me, her eyes are clear and strong. "Marcus wasn't entirely wrong," Amy says as we start walking back towards the hangar doors. "About what?" I ask. "About how I'm partly to blame for this." "You're right, you are," or "why would you be to blame?" Let's go with "why would you be to blame?" "Some of the things we do here, it's scary. We should have known that one day something like this would happen. Everyone here with knowledge of what goes on in level 3 is to blame," she says. "It's a highly advanced research facility," I say, "doing amazing but risky stuff. So yeah, we're partly to blame by just working here, but I can understand the dedication." Yeah, so yeah, you're partly to blame by working here, but I can understand the dedication. "So why don't you tell me a bit about what does go on in level 3, I ask. "Are you familiar with the large Hadron Collider over in Switzerland?" "I've heard the phrase, but that's about it," I say. It's a powerful particle accelerator," she explains. "Right now they're using it to try and create what's called dark matter. It's theorized that this dark matter actually makes up the majority of the universe, but parts of the universe very different from ours. Parts of the universe very different from ours. My guess is the people at the LHC will probably create their first dark matter particle in about 2018 or 2019. So within the next 2 years, apparently. Although I don't know what year this takes place. Here in the facility, we are able to create almost 10... Yeah. Here in the facility, we were able to create one almost 10 years ago. It was the key to our research. Does that have something to do with those things, or what does this matter do? What does this matter do? Let's go with the things. What does this have to do with the things? Well, we still don't know all about... Well, we still don't know all there is about dark matter, or other matter we have yet to identify. These creatures could be made of it, or maybe they are some even more exotic matter. We just don't know. If dark matter is responsible, there are no real answers to have. I scratch my head. So you're saying this dark matter helps with... what? Opening up other dimensions or something? That's the theory, she says. During the point-to-point transfer, the subjects are gone for about 3 to 6 seconds. There's no way to see it or measure their presence, but they exist somewhere. From what we can tell, they exist in a kind of void. What is that place like, or have you done this with people? Based on the result of the rats with the innards coming out on the outside when they get to the second location, I would hope that they haven't done people, so we're gonna go with, what's this place like? We don't know. There may be an infinite number of voids or spaces. Some of them appear to just be nothingness, a vacuum of exotic matter. We're talking about places that we can only measure with instruments. What does that mean? I ask. Do you know what these places look like? No. It means in order to describe it to you, you'd have to be a mathematician. And I'd have to walk you through realms of data and equations. So even though we can describe them, we're still a long way from figuring out what these places look like. Sorry I asked, I say, feeling my mind start to bend inward again. As we continue to walk between the silos, we walk past the area where we left Marcus behind. But he's long gone. Maybe he found a way out. I realize that we're walking very close together between the silos, perhaps trying to create the illusion of safety. We reach the exit connecting to the hangar doors, where Dennis hopefully still is. My guts clench and my heart hammers in my chest as we open the door and walk through. I lift the rifle, but at first it seems that there is nothing waiting for us. That's when I see the glowing, hulking shape to my left, closing in fast. Ruh-roh. That's not good. The monster's gonna get us. The creature is about 10 feet away and coming in quickly. So I do the first thing that comes to mind. I drop to the ground, making myself a smaller target, and raise the rifle. I am not sure if I should just unload on the bastard or try to be choosy with my shots and weaken it, or at least slow it down. Maybe if we shoot it sparingly, it'll run off rather than unloading and wasting bullets. That's my theory, at least. Conserve as many bullets as we can. My shots cause the entire milky white frame to jerk to the floor. It flounders its ghost-like tentacles, writhing with rage as it cries out at me. It seems to turn and jerk away, parts of it appearing and disappearing every few feet. It moves down the hall and out of sight. See, it's exactly what I was hoping would happen. I look quickly around for others, but there's only Amy. She looks at where the monster went with wide eyes. Her face is pale, and I wonder if, like me, she is able to feel her mind trying to retreat. Come on, I say. Let's find Dennis and get through these hangar doors. Amy glances at her watch and nods. We're already down to 6 minutes. Wow, it's been 20 minutes already. Damn. We turn towards the hangar doors, and I am a little disgusted with myself because the bloody scene that so shocked me before now seems mild. Amy goes to work on the computer console on the side of the doors. She starts punching in keys before saying, "This is going to take some time." "I thought you already unlocked it," I asked. "I did," she says. But for this door, there's still security permissions I need to hack. Marcus would have known how to do this. She trails off, and I decide to let her work. Suddenly, something slams into me. I feel my feet leave the floor, and I'm literally thrown across the concrete. I look up in time to see one of the creatures. It's apparently in no hurry to attack me again, focusing on Amy instead. She's not armed. I need to come up with a plan to get this thing away from her so she can focus on getting the door open. It raises one of its flickering appendages, making me certain that part of its makeup is pure light and energy. I could easily take a shot with my rifle, but my mind again goes to how much remaining ammo I have. The only other thing I can think of is to get it to chase me and lead it away from this room somewhere. Conserve ammo. Distract the monster and run. Hey! I yell. Right here! Come get me! I'm the one that shot your buddy. It turns to me, and I'm again faced with staring at something that has no business in this world, in this reality. Its body gives off a sort of glow around the central part, a bulbous core that is branched off into humps very much like a spider. Again, I sense that this visual information is not accurate, but it's the best my simple mind can do to make sense of this impossible creature. It starts lurching towards me and lets out a shriek of agony that makes my ears feel like exploding. Now that I'm sure it's coming after me, I take off running and head into another hallway. Now that I'm sure it's coming after me, I take off running, heading into another hallway we haven't been down yet. We haven't been down. I can read. I find myself in an industrial-looking area and am pleased to find that the monster has followed me through. Okay, so just a quick break real quick. I want to make a comment, because I'm willing to bet somebody's probably going to yell at me for the fact that I'm not just shooting the things. I did do the warning shot, to get the one to go away, but I mean, either way, we were going to take a shot. So there really wasn't avoiding that one. But anytime I can conserve ammo, I'm going to do it. Simply because I have a feeling that towards the end, we're going to need that ammo. And I'd rather end the game with more ammo than what we needed than to end the game without any ammo. Or to run into a situation where we could have used that ammo. So, basically that's my logic. And if you don't agree, I'm sorry, go play for yourself. So, anyway, back to the story. Ooh, this is new. It's kind of pretty looking. In a, rustic way. The room seems to be an assortment of old pipes and tanks. I assume some of them run further down into other areas of the facility. With the creature on my tail, I dashed into the maze of metals, hoping to lose it. It's definitely having a harder time squeezing through than I am. That slows it down. Of course, the room's not a cage of any kind, and the thing is still heading towards me, shredding through the pipes as it rages. I notice that sometimes it is breaking the steel grinders, but other times it seems like it's somehow merging or changing them. Pipes that were separate are now connected together in a way that makes my head hurt. I finally get a good amount of distance between myself and the creature. I think it's lost my trail. I need to get back to the hangar doors. There's not much time before they close shut, but if I make a sound, that creature could be on my heels again. Damn. Oh, that's a hard one. Crap. It's a huge risk, but I think we should try to escape quietly. I take care to stay silent, twisting myself through more pipes and making my way back towards the door I entered through. The creature doesn't seem to pick up on this. I see its glowing back as I come around. It lets out a static scream that makes my insides feel like jelly. But I don't look back. I slide quietly through the rusted obstacle course and tiptoe back to the hangar doors. Hopefully, we make it there in time. Hopefully. Although we don't know where Dennis is. That's like a very important question. Where the heck is Dennis at? I burst back into the large room and see Amy still working on the computer terminal by the hangar doors. You okay? I ask Amy. I can clearly see her battling for control of her... I can clearly see her battling for control of her I can't fucking read. Steamed determination wins out, and she gives a grim nod. Any sign of where Dennis went? I ask, hoping she hasn't noticed his body somewhere. No, she replies. It's then that I realize that I have no idea how many rounds I have remaining in my rifle. This isn't a model I'm familiar with. Outside of some deer hunting, I'm not much of an expert on firearms. Still, I'm able to locate the chamber easily and see that there are 4 rounds left. Not great, but it could be worse. How are we on time? I ask her. 2 minutes. I'm going as fast as I can, she says. Amy does her best to focus on the keyboard, but there is still no sign of Dennis. Before I have time to look around, a screeching sound erupts from the other end of the room. I bring the rifle up in a shooter's stance and turn around. With the hangar doors right behind me, no sign of Dennis, and a closing window of time, I have to be confident. Yet, when 2 monsters come around the corner, my body wants to shut down. The appendages seem to jump in time and space, reaching out for a split second independent of their body, and they're disappearing back to where they came from. It turns and screeches at me, its glowing tentacles snarking out of its body. My knees tremble uncontrollably. Behind me, Amy shrieks. I feel myself losing control, my mind sliding into the abyss of insanity. I pull myself back from the brink. I've got to stay in control. Oh dear. Okay, now the question is this that moment in time that I was referring to where we need to take these shots? Or will she be able to manage to get the doors open at the last second and we be able to run away? That's the question. That's the uncertainty. And as I continue to be doing in this story, we're going to take the chance and we're going to turn away. It's not going to end well. I could stand here and use my last 4 shots, but what good would that do? So instead, I turn to face the hangar doors. How much longer before you open these things? Not long, she says, furiously typing into the terminal as commands flood the screen. I doubt it. I think to myself, can I do anything to help? I ask. She doesn't answer. Deep in concentration, I turn back around to see the looming shapes appear. The creature comes around the corner, screaming out that static-like sound. I step away from Amy and the hangar doors and towards the monsters, ready to defend her. I am ready with my rifle, but the creatures waste no time. It makes that jerky motion towards me, and there's a sharp pain in my chest as it collides with me, or through me. It's hard to tell. My instinct is to try and grapple or hold this thing down, but then I realize I don't even know if that will work. God, okay, if we've got Amy right behind us, if we try to escape, the creature could go after Amy, and then we've got all hopes lost. Or we could attempt to hold the creature down. Hi, Haley.
Are you still taking us?
What time is it? It's not time to go, is it?
Yes, be home at 12.
Oh. Yeah, give me 1 sec.
How long does it take then? Can we do like 11:40?
Yeah, that's fine. We can do that.
Okay.
Hey,
come get you at 11:40?
Yes, because I'm not going to be able to pay attention to the time.
Okay.
Thank you. Or we could try to grab the creature, which this entire time we've been describing basically as globs of light, and potentially prevent it from hurting Amy. My thought is one of the creatures pushed us down earlier, which means that it's gotta have some form of something that's not just light to have been able to do that, right? So again, with the whole I take stupid risks thing, we're gonna try and grab the creature. I tried to grapple with the creature, but it feels very different from my struggle with Marcus earlier. It's not easily grabbed. My fingers slide through parts of it, some parts like a ghost, others like jellyfish. Touching it burns my hands, but only slightly. Then I realize I can't grip it. I quickly spring away and turn to face it. With a scream of defense, I raise the rifle and put a round in its core. The shot lands dead center, and in the light inside of the flickering the shot lands dead center, and the light inside of it flickers almost violently. It falls back against the wall, issuing a hiss of its telltale static noise. It then jerks away and retreats at least for now. Another terror appears as if out of nowhere, screaming at me with its high-pitched whine. It bounds forward, charging in its strange static way. I aim the rifle, intending to take this one in the core too. I take several shots, but it's still coming at me. As it slams into me, I realize that I only have one bullet left. On contact, the wind is knocked out of me, of my lungs, the back of my head strikes the floor. But neither of these... I didn't get to read that sentence, god damn it. I got sort of behind on my reading, and I apologize for that. But I wanted to make the comment as I was reading. It said that we only had okay, first of all, it said we only had 4 bullets left. Then it said we took several shots. Which in my head is more than 4. Maybe I'm just, I don't know. 4 or more would be... A couple of shots would be 2. A few shots would be 3. Several, I would assume, would be more than that. But, I mean, maybe that's just me thinking too logically. We're only down to 1 bullet. Crap. Shoot for the center or shoot for the tentacles. Oh, I haven't finished reading yet. Its exterior is like a seashell that has been pounded by the surface for so long that it has lost all edges and ridges. But the grip it tries to capture me with is pure violence. I feel those light soaked appendages start to wrap around me. I raise the rifle, knowing I still have 1 shot left. The weight of the monster is erect. The weight of the monster is erect. One moment I feel weightless, another I feel like I'm going to be crushed. Erratic. That's the word that I read was erratic, not erect. I'm sorry. I push upwards with the rifle to aim, but it is overpowering me. I'm not sure I'd be able to get an effective shot off. I see the core of its body like a spider-like shape, connected to the rest of it by thin white strings of tissue. I know I'll be dead within seconds unless I manage to shoot, but I don't know where to aim. This thing has already survived for so long. I feel like the center would be the best place because that's like where all the tentacles are connected, whereas the tentacles will just kind of barely do much, in my opinion. So we're gonna try shooting for the center. The creature is seconds away from tearing into my shoulder. I have to stop it now. I grunt as I try to angle the rifle in the direction of the beast's formless core. The appendage begins tugging down on the barrel, and it's at that moment I pull the trigger, unleashing my final shot. Thank God I saved this bullet earlier. The shot aggravates it enough to win me some breathing room. I've saved my shoulder, but this thing's still alive and kicking. But then I see the creature extend its tentacles in a violent whip-like motion away from me while it makes that static, screeching sound. The creature disappears into thin air and reappears a few feet from me, retreating. With a shudder and a cry of desperation, I get to my feet just in time to see the monster head in the direction of the biochem room. Amy looks over at me from her terminal at the hangar doors, looking petrified. I manage to help myself up when I see another figure nearing us. But to my relief, I realize it is a human figure, Dennis, with a gun. "You okay, boss?" he asks, but his eyes aren't on me. They're looking at the creature trying to understand. They're looking at the creature trying to understand exactly what he'd just seen. "About 15 minutes ago, I heard the door to the maintenance room unlock," Dennis says, pointing to the room I'd tried to bust my way into earlier. "Ah," Amy says. "When I did the override up in the command center, it unlocked all small doors down here, including the maintenance room. I went inside there and hid," Dennis continues, "and while I was waiting for you to come back, I found this massive trunk. There are a few guns in it, so I grabbed this one," he says, patting his shotgun. "I'm glad you're safe, Dennis, or I'm glad you found some weapons." Let's go with "I'm glad you're safe, Dennis." "Thanks, boss," he says. "Me too." She doesn't break eye contact with the panel. "Almost done," she replies. Suddenly, without warning, a shot ricochets off the wall behind Amy's head. Startled, we look around. Confused, did Dennis's gun go off? Then another shot blasts near us again. We all drop to the floor. I look around, wondering who or what could possibly be shooting at us. Clearly it's Marcus. Those creatures don't do anything that sounds remotely like gunfire. And then I see him. Marcus. I should have killed him when I had the chance. He has a rifle and is walking towards us, an insane look in his eyes. "You all deserve to die," he screams, unleashing another round that I hear whiz by my head. Dennis doesn't hesitate. He stands up and shoots Marcus, causing him to retreat. "How much longer, Amy?" Or "Open the damn door. Let's be kind. We don't want to freaking rush her," although she's kind of being rushed. "Almost there," she says quietly. She makes a few final key presses and says, "Done." The doors open with the noise of hydraulics and a whoosh of air. With Marcus pinned down by Dennis's gunfire, we start moving towards the doors. At that moment, another creature jerks into existence around the corner, between us and Marcus. "Shit!" Marcus says, and starts unloading into it, but then he learns the same lesson we did. This only slows the creature down. Marcus gives us one last look, and then turns to run off in the other direction. Dennis, Amy, and I climb up and head through the doors, moving on nothing more than adrenaline. I see her look longingly at the maintenance room Dennis took the shotgun from. "You get into the hangar," Dennis says. "I'll get some more firepower." Satisfied with the plan, Amy heads through the door. We scramble inside, finally inside the hangar. Dennis approaches from behind, holding several guns and looking like a kid who grabbed an armful of Halloween candy. Amy reaches for a 9mm with one hand. Dennis turns to me, holds out a shotgun and a handgun for me to choose. Both look deadly. The shotgun looks more powerful, but the handgun will probably be more precise.